Welcome to another tutorial of Enopal. Let's continue with our tutorial of C++, and today we are going to finally create our first video game on this console application of C++, and we are going to use all we have learned in the past tutorial, like creating functions, creating variables, and creating a matrix structure or multidimensional arrays. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to use is a logical map to handle all the elements that we are going to have in our video game. And also the first goal of this video is create something like this. We are going to paint our logical map. We are going to talk about that in a few minutes. And also we are going to paint our hero, that will be this little chip, and we are going to move to the left and to the right. So this will be the first goal on these coming two videos, and also we are going to add all the validation to the chip. Don't leave the map. So we are going to add this validation to handle all these things, and also we are going to explain how to handle this logical map to add all the validation that we need to create this video game. Alright? So as say Linus Torvalds, tall sheet, show me the code. Okay, so the first thing that you need to imagine is the map. The map video game is a matrix structure or a multidimensional array, the type chart, and we are going to store all the elements of our game into each cell of our multidimensional array. Like in this example, our enemy cheats will be these asterisk icons, and our hero cheat will be this small icon that we have here, and we are going to handle all these icons, saving into the multidimensional array as Ascii code. So maybe you need to first research a little bit about that. The Ascii code, this works on Windows. I'm not sure it works in any other operating system. So the next thing that we are going to have is move the hero chip to the left and to the right, and we are going to add some events to handle all these things. The first event that we are going to handle is the paint event. This paint event will paint all our multidimensional array in our console application. So there is a small event, and the other event is move the hero. We are going to add some listener to listen when a key is down to the left or to the right to move our hero or hero chip. So these events in the next videos, we are going to also handle the shoot to the enemy cheats, and also move the enemy chief. I'm not sure if we are going to add this event, but we are going to see how is going this tutorial and see what happened. But the first three events that we are going to add will be these three events. Alright, so we are going to handle a logical map, and we are going to use, as I said before, save the not the icons, use the chart or the Ascii codes. So we are going to maybe research a little bit about that, because this is very important in this video. But if you don't understand, maybe you can leave a comment or a question in the comments below. But we are going to just print the code, the Ascii codes, and the console application will use show the icon that is assigned by this Ascii code. In our example, or hero chip or main chip is the Ascii code is 206. So if you press all 206, you will see this little icon appears in your machine. This works on Windows, but I'm not sure it works in any other operating system. So maybe you need to check before it will work on your Linux or Mac computer, right? All right, so we are going to use moving our hero to the left and to the right. So to move this is just create, and when the left key is down, we are going to put a blank space into the current position of the hero chip, and put the 206 chart ASCII code in the right. So let's jump to the Visual Studio Code. We are creating a new project, and we are these libraries at the beginning. So as you see, I have my code empty. So the first thing that we are going to add in our main function is creating our multidimensional array. We are going to call world, and we also add the dimension of this array. In this example, the matrix or the multidimensional array is 5 by 5, but in our example, we're going to create a matrix 10 by 10, right? So let's create our multidimensional array 10 by 10, and the next thing that I wanted to use is constants. We are going to use constants because it's more easy to maintain our code, or it's better because we are going to have this constant in all our functions, and we can use it, and as it's an static variable, this value will change in the future. So let's just use this little constant of type int called h, and we are also going to use the a variable. All right, so let's assign 10 to these two variables, and let's create our multidimensional array 10 by 10. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to add to our code is handle our logical map. So this matrix is using to handle out our logical map into our video game. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to use is add our first structure for the hero chip, and we are going to call it Lane, like the video game that I like too much, the Zelda video game. So let's call it Lane, and so the next thing that we are going to add is our structure. So let's add before or after the libraries and the constants. Let's call it hero, and we are going to add some properties to this structure. The first one will be one called code. We are going to store here our ASCII code in Windows. Remember, is 206. As you wanted to test, it will be print this little icon in our console. So the next thing we are going to add is the position at and the position A. All right, the next thing that we are going to add, the next thing that we're going to add is life. Life is vidas in Spanish, so sorry about that. But the first, or the property more important here, is the code, right? So the next thing that we are going to add is our first event. This event will be the initialization for our world or for our multidimensional array, and we are going to save all the default elements in our video game. All right, so let's create a void function called init, and we are going to pass our world or variable or a multidimensional array, and we just need to pass the columns value. In this case is our constant called u. So white, and the next thing is add the structure hero, and we are going to add this pass by reference because we are going to update the values in this function, and we also need to use these values in the next function. So we are going to pass this variable by reference. So we need to add this character before the name of the structure, right? So the next thing, we are going to create two variables, the a and the j. The next thing is initialize or structure values. In this case, we are going to add our code. Remember, is an Ascii code. So we are going to store, in this case, 206. Let's create a constant for that. And let's create a constant called code, or maybe we can call it hero code. So let's add an h before the name, right? So this constant is int. So the next thing that we are going to add is add the position or the initial position of our hero. In this case, we are going to add in the middle of the multidimensional array and in the last row. Okay, so the last row is 10. So remember, we need to use our position x variable, and we are going to store in the middle. That will be the 5, because our matrix 10 by 10. And the next thing that we are going to add is the position. Remember, the position x is the last, so we need to add the last position, and the middle is by columns will be the 5 position, because our matrix is 10 by 10. All right. So the next thing that we are going to add is set some values like the life, because maybe we are going to use this in the next videos. So by now, using initialize this value in 3, right? Perfect. So the next thing that we are going to do is add 2 for loops to initialize our multidimensional array, the call word. So we are going to add blank space in all our word at the beginning. So let's use our variable a and j, and just set the value blank space. Okay. So the first thing is it will be print just blank space. All right. So that is going to do these 2 for loops. And the next thing is add the position of our hero chip. In this case, will be the link dot position x and the position u. All right, y. So link dot position y, and we are going to add our code that is 206. Remember, use the name of our word, and in this function is use the initialization of all the elements at the beginning of the game. All right. So at the beginning, we are going to have all our word with blank space. At the moment, we don't have enemy cheats, but we just have our hero in our cheat hero in the position like in the middle of the multidimensional array. And the next thing that we are going to add is our first event. Remember, we talked about this before. The event will be paint. This function will paint the word each time that we need it. So we just need paint all the word. All the elements of our video game are stored in the matrix structure. So we just need to paint the word. Okay. In the other events, we are going to update all the elements into the multidimensional array or in the matrix structure. So this event will just paint the word. We need 2 for loops, and we add these 2 for loops, paint some and so some characters here, and we are just going to paint what it have into our matrix structure. Right. So the next thing that we are going to add is the line jump. Just paint the first thing, and we are going to use the function code to paint, and we just paint our value and add a blank space to see a little more separate our elements in the multidimensional array. So the next thing is just add a join line at the end of the first row. So just add a join line or a line jump, and finally at the end we are going to paint some join lines and also paint maybe a tabulator and a small message that this game is created by Enopal. Remember, always create this just to check where is the position of our final character. All right. So this function, we are going to call it in our main function after the initialization function. So we just going to paint in, and let's pass the variable word and see how it's working. Press Ctrl and press Ctrl F5, and the next thing is check that everything works. And as you see, we are our hero chip is not painting in our multidimensional array or logical map. So let's check. Okay, we need to -1 our position in the rows, because remember it's starting 0, so it's painting it's painting out of position. Okay, this is our hero. It's in the last position of the matrix, in the last row, and it's in the middle of the columns. Right. So as you can see, everything is working nice in our first pane. So the next thing that we are going to add is the events that we listen when we press down a key in our keyboard. So we are going to listen when is pressed the left or the right buttons in our keyboard. So let's create a function to handle that, where let's create a void function called it timer, where we are going to listen in each second when a key is pressed down. All right. So let's pass our matrix structure and called word and our hero. So let's create infinite loop in this function. So the first thing that we are going to add is a short key. I'm not sure if we are going to use this in next, but let's create our variable short key, maybe to store which key is pressed down. All right. So let's create a variable, call it step. I'm not sure about this, but maybe we can use this variable in the future. All right. Perfect. All right, let's add infinite loop here, while one. So this loop will execute in infinite, because we need to listen each time of the we need to listen each time when I press when a key is pressed down. All right. So let's call paint in this function. We are going to call paint, we need to delete all we have to overwrite, and maybe override the paint is now in our console application. But first we are going to add our first function, that is will handle the event when a key is pressed down. Alright, the name of this function is hit, and hit will listen when a key is pressed down in our keyboard. So we are going to store this using the get function of C++. So the next thing that we are going to use is or do is store the key that is pressed down. All right, so let's store this in our variable key and using the get method. All right, or the get function. So we need to save the ASCII code from this from the key that is pressed down. Let's just store the value of which key is pressed down in the keyboard. So this is a great function because we can handle the events to move to the left and to the right. I think the next event will be when our hero chip shoot to the enemy chips. So the next thing that we are going to add is an split method because this runs in machine time, so it's very fast. We need to slow down the time maybe to 1 second because the machine time is very fast. So the next thing that we are going to add is clean the console because we need to delete the current matrix structure and delete it from the console application. All right, so to add this sleep method or this sleep function to slow down the time, and we need to add this library windows.h. Finally we are going to paint or call our paint function into this timer, right? So we are going to maybe to print which key is pressed down just to check if the hit function is working. All right, so let's test this code and let's press Ctrl F5 and see it's working. But first we need to call the timer function in our main function. So let's call it because our timer function will call paint. So I think this will be a problem here. And the next thing that we are going to do is testing its words. All right, press Ctrl F5. As you can see this little a little blind. So as you can see, it's printing or it's painting each 1 second. All right, or as you can see, let's press a key down and to see it's work the hit function. Let's press the G. You can see it's printing or it's painting all the keys that I'm pressed down. So it's working. The hit function is working. So all we need to do is listen when move to the left or to the right, and add the validation to move our hero chip. All right, moving to the left or to the right in our logical map that is our multidimensional array. Perfect. All right, let's do this in the next video. Move the hero, and don't forget to subscribe, put out and share with your friends.